Hello, warriors. Welcome to the You Movement. I am B, and I'm currently in what I would describe as being the great nothing. This also could be described as the void. It's an empty. This whole awakening process is about emptying us. Stripping us bare of all the false senses of self. And when you strip those away, it leaves a very bizarre feeling. I don't feel like there's not a sense of separateness right now. It's a dense, heavy energy that I am like one with, in this void place of absolute nothingness. It's kind of disconcerting. I'm not really enjoying it. I'm surrendered to it completely and utterly. I'm surrendered to God. The prayers that I've been, as of late, is, God, use this vessel as you so see fit, like this, I give you this life. This life is yours. It's not mine. There is no mine. So that the mine has completely been tamed. I had a past life vision near the start of my awakening, near the start of my Kundalini anyways, where I was a wild Mustang. And I was being corralled and tamed, but I was a very stubborn Mustang and I didn't want to be tamed. To the point where finally at the end of this vision, this dream that I had was that the one that was trying to tame me was like, you it's not gonna work. We're gonna let you go back into and let yourself be wild. Because I just had this wild spirit, and I think I've had this wild will inside of me, this ego that has kept me alive without question. And then through this Kundalini process, it's been tamed. Like my nature has been tamed, and my relationship to God has been unified. Becoming one with God, or completely surrendered to God. And now God's going to be different for different people, and everybody defines it differently, but I'll just describe my experiences because I was never a God person before. In the beginning, God created light. Yes, in the beginning of my awakening, I was out walking one day and I had this realization that I was the light. And I was like, what? Like, it defied everything I thought I knew about myself, because, I was this punk rock chick at my heart, and that's who I was, this identity of being in the dark. And I liked hanging out with the freaks and the mohawks and the piercings and the tattoos, those are my people in the dark, and then to like have this realization that I was actually light. I was a light within the dark. It was like, it began this collapsing of a lot of my identities. So it did. And then a little bit later on, I had some very mystical experiences. Now, I haven't really talked about those because they're kind of private and personal and awe-inspiring, but I'll talk about one today. I was sitting on my deck in my old house, and this light came at me. And I mean, it wasn't a ray of sunshine or something. It was like this it was God. It was God. And like, I immediately went like this. Like, I could only bend down and bow to this energy that was so massive. And I just was in this place of, I surrender. I'll do whatever. I am surrendered. I am humbled. I am your servant. And it was in this moment of this light penetrating me on all fronts that I went from being this willful, egoic person to being in the service of God. Like that is how fast that promise made. Now, did it go that smoothly from that point forth? No. If you've watched, I've been 4 years. So that would have happened, within the first year. And then it's been 3 years of purging and purification and, dealing with dark energies and overcoming trauma releases and purges and like hell. Like, it was like, okay, here's your initiation of, yes, okay, you want this path? You want to walk in the path of God? Then you need to burn off everything that's not God. And throughout my awakening, there were many times I wanted to give up. And I remembered, I can't. I promised. I made a promise to God. And when you make a promise to God, you keep it. So you do, like that was my sign on the dotted line moment. Come to Jesus, as they say, although to me it was come directly to God. And this is going to like kick into gear your awakening, your purification, your unification with God, your emptying. And so for the last 3 years, I've been emptying. I've been emptying out all the toxic behaviors, drinking, smoking, pharmaceuticals, cannabis, magic mushrooms, coffee, sugar, people, relationships, houses, stuff, overdoing, self-loathing, like just one thing after another. It's been 6 solid years of emptying, of burning off everything that wasn't me. So it wasn't. And it was brutal experience. Other people talk about these like lovely, blissful awakenings. I don't know where that is. I suppose that moment that was in one with God, that was a blissful moment. I suppose it was also terrifying. Like, whoa, like this. It was intense. And of course there was all this fear attached to it. You don't want to talk about it, because if you say, oh, God talked to me, people are going to think you're crazy. I don't want people thinking I was crazy. So I'm like, I'll just keep this little under wraps, and I'll keep all these other little visions that I was given under wraps, because, and then I'm talking in tongues. What? So all this stuff started happening, all this spiritual stuff started happening after that, it's taken me a long time to integrate, because I wasn't like, when I grow up, I want to like talk tongues and be in the service of God. And that was not what I was. I was the polar opposite of that. I was like, I was the type of girl that wanted to be cool and wear and have tattoos and piercings and hang out with the punk rockers and the heavy metalers and you know, the black sheeps and the misunderstood and the angry and, you know, dance it out to Rage Against the Machine. That's where I was comfortable. I was, and even though I had this other identity that was like this Reiki master, you know, like that was like, it was like having these, as I've said before, it's like I would put on different personas for different time periods. Like, what do you need me to be? You need me to be the dutiful daughter? Okay, I'll wear that mask now. You need me to be the Reiki master? I'll put on my cardigan. I don't know why I thought that Reiki masters had to wear cardigans, but that was the character that I would get into, is the Reiki master. And then like at the core of me was like this like angry little punk rocker. And then all of a sudden I'm like bowing down to God and saying, listen, I'll be in service to you in any which way that means. So to me, God is everything. God is the energy that is everywhere. God is in me. So yes, I am of God. I am God, but I am not the God. I'm not egoic enough to think that. A lot of people are like, once you figure out you are God, I'm like, well, I am one with God. Like the separateness goes away, you know. The easiest way to look at it is like we breathe in oxygen, and oxygen is everywhere. It's a gas, it's an energy. And so with each breath, I am breathing God, right? So we're in this giant swirling of God. You know, God is everywhere, and God therefore is light and can manifest as light. I don't know where I'm going with this video today, because it's very, as I said, the energy that I am in right now is a devoid of light. It feels very dark. It feels very dense. It feels very still, like molasses almost, and being just held in place in this nothingness where I am nothing. All the egoic identities have been stripped away from me, and I literally am nothing right now. I am no longer any of those that I once was. I have no one. I don't even remember the last time I spoke to a human. It's been a few days. Like I'm on my own as a monk, living like a monk. And other than like odd little interactions that I've had a little while, I've been like on my own, you know. I'm not even sure, and now I'm hearing weird noises, and so is my cat. That's odd, but anyways, you know, so I'm in a constant state of meditation almost. You know, so these videos are my one opportunity to speak out loud during the day, because I don't have anyone to communicate with, unless I do have one friend that phones me. Other than that, like, and my meetings that I hold are my times and my opportunities to speak to humans. Like, I don't speak, there's not a lot of verbalization unless I'm speaking to God, but I do that mostly in my head. You know, I don't pray out loud, but I communicate quite frequently of like, okay, this body is yours. Do with it what you want. This life is yours. Do with it what you like. Because what God has liked or wanted from me is for me to let go of everything that I wasn't. And that was a painful process. So it was, you know, I've literally lost everything. And I'm kind of at peace with that. Like, I'm not upset about it. I've certainly grieved over it. So I've processed through a lot of it, that there's this weird peace in having nothing or no one, or being nothing or no one, you know? Even throughout this awakening, my ego has tried to grasp hold of like identities, and wasted a lot of money in so doing. One of which I kind of laugh at is, like, I read Oracle, but it's not something like I do like these TikTokers that are doing like every single day Oracle reads and pushing, I'm an Oracle reader. And my ego for a little bit got caught up in this and was like, oh yeah, you're an Oracle reader. You need to buy lots of decks. And now I'm sitting here with a giant box of decks going like, why do I even have all these? That was my ego. My ego was like, I need to like create this. And like, as you've seen, I've not even done an Oracle read since the summer. Because Spirit's been like, no, that's not who you are. That's something that you do, but you were getting way too much of an ego So I'm like looking at it and kind of laughing, because there's this piece, as I said, I'm just kind of laughing and being like, man, I spent hundreds of dollars on all the Oracle decks that I have. And, I could give them all away tomorrow and I'd be like, okay, sure. Like God at this point could literally take, I have like about 20 totes. I have about 20 totes of things that I thought that would be useful, that I might need. And at this point in time, like God could shrink me down to like fit in the back of my car and I'd be fine. Like there's no thing that I own that I'm like, oh my God, I need this thing. So there's this emptiness of like anything outside of myself has lost meaning. And one of the lessons that I've gotten over and over is, if there is a need of anything outside of myself, then that is an attachment that I need to let go of. And I mean anything. If there is a need, I need that. I need this person. If there is a feeling of need, of like, then that's not being empty. And God said, be empty. So one after another, I emptied anything I was needing, because there is suffering in the needing. And so on this awakening path, at different phases, it might be very likely that you are going to be faced with letting go of everything, one thing after another. And so I had somebody drop a comment about, I shouldn't be all nasty and whatever about sacred medicines. And I'm like, I'm going to be whatever I want to be. You can be whatever you want to be, and in your own timeline. That's got nothing to do with me. Don't project your stuff on me. I'm not going to project my stuff on you. I'm telling you, my experience has been one thing after another, after another, after another. The Spirit has said, this got to go. It's got to go. Because it's something outside of yourself that you're holding on to. And so one thing after another, each of those things served a purpose at a place and time in my life. Even smoking served a purpose. It kept me alive. For 30 odd years, it kept me alive. It was like one of my best keep me alive tools out there. So we have these things, behaviors, substances, attitudes, beliefs, drugs, people, sex, distractions, like we have 101 million things outside of ourselves that we think we need. And for a period of time, we do need it. And I'm not judging anyone for needing it. I needed what I needed when I needed it. And then God came along and said, you got to let go of these things. Oh, this thing that you see that you're needing. And you know, I don't need to tell you when you're sitting at home eating a box of donuts. You know, you're not supposed to sit at home and eat a box of donuts that is not actually serving you. You know, it did for a long time. But now you got diabetes and the doctor's like, you need to take your health seriously. And you're like, oh, geez, I'm going to have to give up this box of donuts. Or if you're spending money on substances that you don't have the money for and you're like getting zoned out every single day. And if somebody said to you, oh, you can't smoke that for a 24-hour time period and you went into a panic. If somebody said to you, I'm going to take this thing away from you for 24 hours. Think of it being like a child with their little like sucky things. Remember those? I can't remember the name of what they're called. The doty. Is that that's what we used to call it in Ireland, was doty. A little doty. If you took the little doty away, or the blankie or the stuffy, right, away from the kid and said, right, I'm taking this away from you for 24 hours. What's the kid going to do? Scream. And then you're like, here, take it back. Jeez, relax. Because they're not ready to give it up. They're ready to give it up when they give it up. Or if you tell a kid who's on a bicycle with training wheels, right, I'm taking your training wheels off, but the kid's not ready and not physically strong enough to be able to like do the speed required to go as fast as they need to go so they don't fall over, then you need the training wheels. So in being human, we need the substances and we need the relationships and we need the family and we need the, whatever it is, until we wake up to the reality on this awakening journey that, hey, this need that I have has gone from helping me to like harming me. You know, and it's all a matter of timing, and everybody's timing is going to be different. You know, you don't see too many adults with doties in their mouths or training wheels on their bikes because at some point they learned, I don't need this. At some point they learned that lesson. And on this awakening, it's like learning the lesson of all the things that we've held on to for too long, that don't work for us anymore, that are now causing problems in our lives. You know, whether it be alcohol, whether it be relationship, whether it be a job, whether it be like working 8 hours a week. You know, eventually these coping mechanisms that worked for a while stop working and cause more problems. And so on my awakening, God was like, I need you to be in the service. And I was like, okay, tell me what you need me to do. I need you to give up hair dye. I need you to give up makeup. I need you to give up your marriage. I need you to give up eating like this. I need you to give up sugar, gluten, dairy, food colorings, fluoride, chlorine, seed oils, you know, and you'll get sick when you don't give up the things that you know you're supposed to give up on. So it's not like you're really given a choice because your body is one with all. And so your body is giving you the signs and the symptoms that it's time to let go of certain things. You know, like when it came to alcohol, I always say alcohol quit me, not the other way around. My mind didn't want to give it up. Are you kidding me? I liked that shit. I liked tequila a lot, and I certainly liked my wine. But every time I drank, I got sick. And the hangovers lasted 5 days, and I would walk around in a stupor of stupidity for like a period of time because my IQ would drop so dramatically. So my body was going on revolt and saying, no more, you've reached your quota, you're done. okay, body, I got the message. I got the message. There's only so many times you can vomit before you're like, okay, maybe I gotta stop doing this. This isn't working for me anymore. So you give up all these things, and then you're left with no things. You're left with nothing. And that's where I am right now. I am in the great nothing. I have no things. I have a cat. You know, other than my responsibility to her, I don't have anything to grab onto except for myself, except for prayer, except for breath, except for fluids, and keeping my fluids going. And through this process, I've also had to purge all the emotions until there's like next to none kicking around in there. You know, like yesterday I'm doing more grief, but even those grief cycles, you know, it's like you cry for 5 minutes, like major wailing, and then you're fine. And you're like, okay, that was weird. That's all that was a 5-minute burst of an emotional release, and now I'm fine, except I'm a bit tired. So you keep purging and you keep purging these emotional releases so that you become empty. You become empty. So everything outside of you is now nothing, and everything inside of you is now nothing too. And so you just in this nothing. This great nothing. And because you've given up everything that you once were, and everything you once did, and everyone you once knew, you're like, what the fuck is next? Like, what is coming next? Knowing next can't look like what it was, because all of that is now gone. And you are now different. You are gone. So you're like in this void, floating around in this heavy energy, going, this is total annihilation. This is totally my annihilation. God could like put a lightning bolt through this house and knock me off, and I'd be okay. You know, like, that I'm done now, I get to go home. Okay, I'd be fine with that. I'd be fine with that. I'd be fine with almost anything. Whatever comes, comes. But in the present moment, nothing is coming. So it's like, okay, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to do nothing. And even today, I was like, I'm going to just sleep. And then eventually I got bored of sleep, and I'm like, I'm going to maybe watch a movie, because, well, I haven't done that in forever. So I just started watching some movies and just kind of zoning out, doing nothing, because I'm like, okay, but even a movie, it wasn't like I needed the movie. I could have turned the movie off. It was just kind of like noise. And then I turned it off, and then I'm like, okay, now I'm just sitting in the nothing, in the silence again. And it's kind of like a disconcerting energy. And it's okay. It's like totally okay. So it's weird. It's weird to be nothing. It's weird to be no one. It's weird to have like no family, no friends, no people, no communication, nothing. It's so weird. It's so weird. You know, I know other people are going out and having a life out there. Like, there's a whole world out there. But I'm in here, in the nothing, where there is nothing happening in my world. Because, like, I'm not watching the news. I'm spending very little amount of time on social media because it just does nothing for me. You know, other than responding people who say things to me directly, like, I'm just like, whatever. It's not a need I have. That's the trick is, you know, if it's a need, you're going to feel a pull towards it. If it's not a need, you're not going to feel really anything one way or another. You're going to be like, whatever. And that's where I'm at. I'm like, whatever. If I live or die, whatever. If I ever do an oracle read again, whatever. If I ever get clients, whatever. You know, maybe that's not something, that's another thing. My mind was like, oh, you know, I mean, maybe I'm supposed to be like doing clients. I see very few clients. I'm like, whatever. That's not what I'm supposed to be doing right now. If I ever get an opportunity handed to me to be an actress again, whatever. Like, whatever. Like, I can't even explain it any other way. That it's just, whatever. Whatever. I'm empty. God is either going to fill me up or lift me up. And either which way, whatever. I'm at the place now where I just don't care. I really don't care. And it's not saying I don't have empathy towards humans. I do have a lot of that, but I don't care about my own life one way or another. Am I going to be successful? I don't care. If God wants me to, I will be. That used to be a big thing for me, was like, will I ever build my own movement to be what I want it to be? No, I didn't. I haven't succeeded in that. I don't care. I think I've done a pretty good job of, you know, documenting in live time what an awakening is. And I think I've helped a handful of people. And so I feel good about that. That's why I did it. Did I want to help more people? Sure, yeah. But maybe that's not my mission. I don't know what my mission is because God hasn't told me. You know, when we had this communing, when this light came through, I wasn't given an itinerary. I wasn't given like what's going to happen or who I'm going to be. I have no idea. I've seen snippets because I have claircognizance and I'm clairvoyant, but I don't know if those are gonna come true in this life or another life or past life. I'm like, I have no idea who I even am. What is going to happen because it's predetermined and it's destiny. So there's zero point in me trying to manifest anything because that's not my job. My job is to surrender to God and let God manifest for me what God wants for me. Whatever God wants for me. I am surrendered to God. Whatever that means. So on any given day, I have been in the energy or have been trying to be in the practice of surrendering to God, which means, oh, you want me to grieve today? Okay, that's what God wants me to do. I'm going to surrender to God. Oh, you want me to process terror and fear? Okay, I'm going to surrender. I'm going to be in the service of God. Oh, you want me to, purify? I'm going to be in the service of God. Service of God. You want me to sell my house? God. You want me to sell my stuff? God. You want me to be alone? God. So it's something that I don't think a lot of people could even fathom. I wouldn't have been able to fathom surrendering completely and utterly everything to the point where you are nothing and you just give it all to God. Just give it all. Whatever you want, you can have. I just give it all. God knows what's in my heart. Yes, I would very much like to experience in this lifetime what love is, because I haven't experienced that in my life. But that's up to God. That's up to God. There is 0 point at this stage in the game and this journey of me seeking, searching, chasing, yearning, desiring, manifesting anything, because that might not be what God wants from me. I'm going to just keep giving it, like, whatever you want, whatever materialize is for me, and I'll say yes to. So when opportunity comes in, I'm going to say yes to them. So I had 2 women invite me to a birthday party. I was like, okay, that's very weird. Yes. So I'm going to say yes is how I'm going to go moving forward when opportunity knocks on my door. Whatever it is. Whatever it is. I'm not even going to think about it. I'm going to just be like, yes. Yes. That's opportunity. That's not icky energies. But I don't feel like icky energies are even coming my way. I feel like what's been coming my way lately has been things to say yes to, and I'm confused by it, and it's weird, and it's like out of my comfort zone. Like getting that whole car situation. I was like, yes. 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 And all of a sudden, my life is so totally different. Like, so totally different. So you give every empty things out, and all of a sudden, a car has landed. So I'm not totally empty. Now I have somewhere to put, like, my totes. So weird. It's so weird. Yes, this awakening process is... The void is all kinds of wackadoodles. I'll report back when I'm out of the void. Till then, I'm going to go back and lie down and not do anything. I've been doing for 6 solid years, and now I'm tired. So I'm taking a break from all my reading and all my practices, and until my body gives me a message to do something else, I'm taking it easy. I'm on hiatus, is what I am. In the void. In the great nothing. I'm sending you out there, if you also happen to be in the great nothing, all of my love. It is not a fun place to be, but equally, it's not a horrible place to be. It can feel like annihilation, but I don't know. It's one step better than Dark Night of the Soul. So it is. Thank you for all the likes, the shares, the comments, the subscriptions, the everything else that you guys do to support me. Because, you know, really, you guys have kept me going through my awakening. Without you guys, I would have been lost. Like, totally and utterly lost. I don't think you realize that. Like, you watching my videos and commenting keeps me going. It keeps me going. Otherwise, I would just be free floating out into the universe, attached to like literally nothing. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. This awakening is all kinds of crazy because you'll lose your mind more than once in this process. I've lost my mind. And that's exactly what you're supposed to do, is you're supposed to lose your mind because your mind is the problem. Peace in.